So when using footage from the Panasonic cameras, we want to ensure that it's first in the iFrame format, which is native to the Mac. And in order to do this on this particular camera, which is a Panasonic SD it's the same for all these Panasonic cameras. This particular one, we want to make sure that it's in camera mode. So you can see here, I swap it into camera mode. And when I open the camera, I can see that the video recording mode is already in iFrame. So up the top left you should see it flashing iFrame. But in order to get it in there, what you need to do is go through your camera's menu, go to the record setup, go to the record mode, and as a default it'll probably be on one of these AVC HD formats. We want to choose iFrame, and once we hit exit, so if I close that and open it again, I can see here iFrame now flashes up. That's important because iFrame is native to the Mac and we won't have to convert the footage in any way in order to take it into SportsCode or Game Breaker. So the purpose of this video is to show how you can import iFrame footage from a Panasonic camera off an SD card easily into Game Breaker. So it's broken down into just a couple of steps. First step is to remove your SD card from your Panasonic camera and put it into the SD card reader on the side of your Mac. Or if your Mac doesn't have an SD card slot, you can use an SD card reader through the USB. So the first thing that will happen when you pop your card in is that it'll automatically open up your iPhoto application. So once it does that, you can just come up to the top left, click on the iPhoto name beside your Apple Macintosh logo and hit quit iPhoto. So once you've got that done, your next step is to go and open your Game Breaker software. And what we want to do is import the footage from the SD card onto our hard drive. So our first step is we go up here to File and we go to Make Movie from Folder of Movies. Once we've clicked on that, it throws up this Choose Folder window, and we're looking to import it from the card. So the card shows up here in My Devices. Click on the name of the card and you can see there what's contained on the card. So the Panasonic creates a file path and it puts your footage in here into one of these DCIM folders. And within that there's another subfolder here, usually with a name resembling something like this. This one here, 107 UDPBH, is just that the files that the Panasonic automatically creates. So in here, this contains my movies. We can see the MP4s here, but with these Panasonic cameras, they split it up into various parts. Every time it reaches 4.7 gigs, it creates a new movie part. But here's the folder that we want to choose. So when you choose Make Folder from Folder of Movies, this is the folder we're choosing, and we hit Choose. So once you hit Choose there, it knits your movies together, and it shows me my movie here from start to finish on the desktop. This movie is still contained on my SD card, so what I want to do is bring it onto my computer so I can use it in analysis. So our next step after we've created the movie from the folder of movies is we go up here to File and we go Save. So what we're going to do is we're going to name our file. This one here I'm going to call Ireland BD Moscow, and we want to decide where we're going to save it. So you can see here it's defaulting to save it on the card, which isn't going to work for us. We want to bring it onto the laptop. So we come here and we choose desktop, and here in the format what we want to do is save it as a SportsCode Game Breaker standalone movie. So once you're happy that all your settings are correct, you hit save, and what it does now is it starts to bring the footage into the desktop. So you can see here that this one has started to create a Game Breaker package on my desktop. So it'll take about, depending on the speed of your machine, about 10 minutes to import this much footage, which is 12 gigs. So once that process is complete, you can see the file name I gave it, Ireland versus D Moscow. I double click on it and you can see now that this movie is completed and it's now on my desktop. So it's no longer on the card. So if we wish, we can come over here and we can eject the card, and the footage still remains on my desktop. So our final step before we can start to code this footage is we need to attach it to something. So we come up here into Game Breaker again, we go to File, we choose New Timeline, And from there it asks us to find the bit of video we want to attach to this timeline. So again, I'm going to look at my desktop, I find the name of the movie that I've created, which is Ireland versus D Moscow, and I hit open. Once I do that, you can see it asks me a question. It asks, do I want to place this movie inside a movie package? And all the time I'm going to hit yes here. We'll see what happens when I do. We'll see this movie here disappears. So when I hit yes, that movie disappears, and what it does is it creates a Game Breaker movie package or SportsCode movie package, depending on what level of the software I'm working at on my desktop. So if I close this down now, I double click on my movie package, and what I've got is my movie and my timeline attached. So I can open up a template and I can start to code. So the steps again, we just insert our SD card into the SD card reader, we shut down iPhoto, you open Game Breaker, choose to make movie from folder of movies. The movie that you create then you save as a SportsCode standalone movie to your desktop, and once that's created you attach a new timeline by going File, New Timeline, attaching the piece of video.